31st December 2019, China reported the first few cases of an unusual pneumonia to WHO. 14th January 2020, WHO said that there is no possibility of human transmission of the novel coronavirus.
24th March 2020, India came to a stop. There was a complete lockdown for initial 21 days, which was later extended. The next thing we know, over 400,000 cases in one day. Fast forward to today. Where is COVID?
We had no idea that the first wave was just a small picture of what we were about to see in the second wave.
There was a shortage of hospital beds.
Shortage of oxygen.
There were so many people dying due to COVID. There was a shortage of wood.
You remember the N95 masks they were selling at maybe 200-300 rupees. Shortage of hand sanitizers. Shortage of a basic paracetamol tablets which we have in a medicine box.
I also remember Instagram being the unofficial helpline for COVID resources. At this time, there were so many students and even youngsters coming up to help people in need. It was actually incredible.
There was literally a cry for help online,
which to some extent was heard. Despite COVID being one of the worst tragedies to have occurred to human beings, it also, in some light, was positive.
The pollution was reduced drastically. There were a lot of animals coming onto the surface which weren't being seen for a very long time. People were spending more time with the family.
Even in isolation, people found ways to make it through. I don't think there ever will be a scenario ever, at least in our lifetime, where we'll be forced to stay inside.
There was a time there were no cars on the road honking.
There were people who were even breaking lockdowns, and it was just a sudden awe to look at these empty streets, especially the busy ones.
Do you have any COVID experiences which you can term as positive?
Yes, it really gave me time to think about myself overall, because it was the end of school and you have a crisis at the end of school, so it was like double crisis for me, and I really believe I spent that time learning more than anything. I picked up the guitar. At the same time, I learned a bit of video editing. It was fun, and I think it is the only period of time I've learned so much in so little.
So the people who wanted, they used the free time productively to improve their productivity and be on self-improvement as a whole. Even I was into the content creation genre then. I was creating more videos. I improved my writing skills. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, improved my knowledge as a whole, became more disciplined, had a different outlook towards my life, how good habits, how maybe small habits can change your life in a huge way.
Now, if we really ask the question where COVID has gone, there are still reported cases of 400 per day.
Just in India.
But people don't seem to care as much. I think it comes down to that Indian mentality of where either people care a lot or they don't care at all.
After the Russia and Ukraine thing came into the surface, there was a slight change of focus.
People really stopped focusing on COVID as a whole. I think in a sense they were done with it. It was time for the world to move to a different thing.
Eating habits improved. People were not getting to eat outside, all homemade food. People were working out. They were taking care of their body in general as a whole. People were getting self-aware.
There was an increase in the importance of health overall. Either it being physical health or mental health, people started focusing on it more. People realized there's more to life than just working. I remember COVID being this phase where it was more of a paranoia.
Yes.
The thought of COVID was more scary than COVID actually itself. My mother, she is very proud to be brave of her own self, so she sometimes used to not wear a mask. That would freak me out. I remember even sobbing and crying and saying, "Wear a mask, mummy, wear a mask." Do you remember the news during COVID?
Initially, you remember all the news channels were just Wuhan virus, deadly virus. There were literal videos surfacing from Spain, Europe in general, where people were stuck in their bedroom crying for help with their dead sister or dead brother in a bed beside them.
I think the news plays a huge role in our perception of the world. The over-exaggeration in the way they showed, making it very dramatic, adding all the masalas they can, added the fear to an extent which was not reasonable.
So coming back to the question of where is COVID gone now, we can obviously say Russia and Ukraine. But vaccination drive, I remember India vaccinating more people in one day than the population of New Zealand. But China has still the world record of 37 million COVID cases in a single day. So India till date has vaccinated over 220 crore people.
But aren't there only 150 crore people in India?
We were given 2 jabs.
Okay, right.
So overall, after the second outbreak of COVID, we took more responsibility.
There was an increase in the overall mentality about hygiene.
Yes.
We became more careful. Even though COVID is in a sense now gone, not really, but it left us with marks which we cannot forget. It also built habits in us which might help prevent something similar in the near future.
So you think after so many vaccinations, there isn't a shortage of needles?
Subscribe. Watch the next video. It's about Virat Kohli. That's funnier.
No more serious videos on this channel, I promise.
Not much. Psych.
Psych.